What do all of us have in common? We are all well-functioning humans, or we are working towards bettering ourselves. Not at all. We all wish we were Jeff Bezos, not because of his charm or beauty, if he has any, but because of his money. Let us make you feel poor in this latest episode of BigFactz, most expensive things owned by Jeff Bezos. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications button below for more videos like this. So in case you haven't heard of Jeff Bezos because you've been in a coma, we will give you an introduction. Jeff Bezos is the world's richest man. Yeah, the richest. He has a couple $100 billion resting in his account. How did he get so rich? Simple. He was born in New Mexico, was a super genius, went to Princeton, and opened Amazon.com, which was an online bookstore that became the internet's biggest success story. And Bezos got rich. Being the world's richest man brings a lot of power and prestige, and it makes you a person who doesn't have to think even once before buying whatever you like. So what does Jeff Bezos do with his billions? Owns a lot. Here are the top most expensive things owned by Jeff Bezos. Number 1. A house that was a literal museum. Washington gets filled with more and more rich people because of its expensive houses. Millions worth of houses. Jeff Bezos bought the most expensive of them. So expensive, in fact, that it wasn't even a house. It was a 27,000 square foot museum. Bezos bought it and then converted it into a single-family home, even though no family needs that much space. The property is very expensive because it shoulders Obama's and his family house, as well as the first daughter Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner. But Bezos and their 4 children are all jet-setters and had a family house in the Seattle area. The to-be home was worth a cool $23 million. It is expected to be an East Coast getaway for the family. The property is at 2320 to 2330 Street, and it spans 2 large historic mansions. Of course, the property created a huge buzz because of its size, but also because its architecture was impeccable. The museum owner had actually paired up with John Russell Pope, who is the architect to the famous Jefferson Memorial. The property was smaller, but then it was soon enough joined by an adjoining mansion. Naturally, the Bezos family didn't roll in with moving vans. Renovation plans were drawn up by a famous local architecture firm called Barnes Vans and were reviewed by the Advisory Neighborhood Commission. So the Bezos family rolled in with Rolls-Royce. Number 2. A private jet. Okay, you may think that this is nothing special. Even Ben and Jerry and Tom own a jet. They are probably less expensive than a whole museum. If you thought that, like us, you're about to be proven quite wrong. His private jet cost a whopping $65 million. Yeah, you didn't hear us wrong. His private jet is literally more expensive than a literal museum. But to be fair to Bezos, it wasn't splurging while saving money because he wasn't letting his workers have bathroom breaks. Having a private jet isn't exactly a luxury, but a necessity for people like Bezos, as they always need to be somewhere in the world. The richest man is famously known to fly on a Gulfstream G650ER. Yeah, just like those lyrics you quoted in the middle school by the Cataracts, Jeff Bezos is fly like a G6. Yeah, he literally flies on a G6. So Gulfstream is a very famous company. In fact, they are the best in private jet catering to the filthy rich companies. He didn't have to justify the purchase. Before owning this luxury jet, he actually used to own a measly Dassault Falcon 900EX. But he sold the Falcon in 2015. The sale led to his huge purchase, this beautiful and sleek new Gulfstream. But what is so great about the jet? Besides it being obviously great, it has a huge fuel range of 13,900 kilometers. Jeff Bezos will only need to fuel once before he's halfway around the world. Also, it's super fast. Number 3. An infinity clock. This is quite an interesting clock being built right now. This is called the clock of Long now, but people refer to it as the 10,000-year clock as well. It is a mechanical clock that is under construction and being designed to keep time and keep going for 10,000 years. The organization responsible for this effort is the Long Now Foundation. A 2-meter prototype is even on display already at the Science Museum in London. 2 more prototypes were put on display at the Long Now Museum and storefront of Fort Mason Center, which is located in San Francisco. The project was started by a man named Danny Hills in 1986. The first prototype of the clock was worked upon for quite some time, and it began working on December 31st, 1999, which made for a very interesting and aesthetic beginning to 2000. At midnight, on New Year's Eve, the date indicator changed from 0199 to 02000, and the clock struck twice. Quite a proud moment. The first full-scale prototype is being made right now. The manufacturers and site construction is actually being funded by Jeff Bezos himself on a land that he owns in Texas. You may think this is a weird purchase, but you can't have a regular timepiece when you are the richest man in the world. That is preposterous. Bezos knew that and invested $42 million in a clock. Number 4. Property in Seattle. Seattle is his city, and we don't even need to elaborate on this. He basically owns Seattle. Number 5. An obscenely expensive apartment in New York City. We know what you're thinking. Every apartment in New York City is obscenely expensive. But Jeff Bezos wasn't going to buy one apartment like a chump. The Amazon CEO dropped $16 million for a 3-bedroom unit that overlooks Madison Square Park. But before this, he already had apartments. His total holdings in the Fifth Avenue skyscraper literally touched the sky at $96 million in value. His new apartment in the building was actually adjacent to the rest, and it was unclear at how exactly he would combine his properties or even how many square feet would be in this huge apartment. But it is definitely confirmed that he owns a $96 million apartment. Number 6. The Washington Post. So this seems like a very random purchase. The Washington Post is a leading newspaper in the U.S., and Bezos apparently liked it a lot, enough to reach out into his overflowing bank account and buy it in 2013. It cost him over $200 million, and we are just a bit confused as to why he did it. Was it bragging rights? Most likely, he was just bored. Or perhaps he saw a good investment opportunity in a 141-year-old newspaper. The fact that he had never owned a newspaper outlet before didn't stop him from making the purchase, but it did prevent him from taking a very active role in the newspaper. He doesn't oversee the day-to-day operations and therefore doesn't need to live permanently in his huge mansion museum. Luckily for him, it must be awful to have such a huge house. Number 7. A rocket factory for space travel. Yeah, a rocket factory. We could not have made this up. This is apparently one of those passion projects. The company is called Blue Origin, and they have a very peculiar mission, quite different from other space exploration companies. They claim that they are not in the space race and that there will be a lot of players in this huge human mission to get out of Earth ASAP. But their mission to build a road to space, not literally. They want to use reusable launch vehicles so that the next generation has the option to visit outer space even if they are not as rich as Jeff Bezos. If you haven't heard about them before, don't worry. They are taking it slow and smooth. In their own words, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Yeah, we don't get it either. Number 8. A robot dog. This is how you know Jeff Bezos is a Tony Stark and science fiction fan. The Amazon founder worked on the Tony Starksis when he strutted across a path of the company Mars conference in California. The invite only fathering consisted of robotic companies and academics, which was first held in 2016 and focuses on learning automation, robotics, and space exploration. But he didn't strut alone. He did so with a robot dog. He posted a tweet to his not very active Twitter account with 280,000 followers. In the tweet, he linked this picture of him walking a robot dog. According to reports, this dog was named Spot Mini and was made by Boston Dynamics. It is not clear whether Bezos actually owns the dog, but his caption was "my dog," so we are guessing he does. You know what? This might be brag-worthy purchase, but we would prefer a real dog. Take that, Mr. Bezos. Number 9. His house in Beverly Hills. Okay, it's not surprisingly that the richest man in the world has property in the most expensive areas, which is Beverly Hills, California. According to Business Insiders, the property itself is humongous. 7 bedrooms, 7 bath interiors, and it also has a greenhouse. There is a lighted and sunken tennis court, a huge swimming pool, 4 fountains, and a 6-car garage. Number 10. A huge Amazon campus. Just because Amazon is online doesn't mean that it doesn't have the luxury of having a campus, the luxury that others in real-life companies do not. So this Amazon campus is worth $4 billion and is located in Seattle. It is spread over 4 downtown blocks, and one of the structures it does have is called the Spheres. This is where a literal tropical forest has been replicated. Amazon flew all over the world to get these tropical exotic varieties and brought it to their home, which is Seattle. Lucky residents of that city, they get seagulls and tropical forest. What would you like to own out of all these? Comment down below and we'll pin the best one. Like this video and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. This was BigFactz, bringing you the best content on YouTube. Tune in next time for more videos like this.